Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Welcome one and all to John and Mike's MMA Corner.
MMA from a different angle.
And before we kick off with obviously our usual saga of laughter and seriousness, professionalism, we're going to start by asking you all to jump onto Facebook, Twitter, the lot really, the social networking sites, and give some of our esteemed colleagues a follow, because their hard work really helps not only us and yourselves but just MMA grow. So first up we have MMA Scotland. We'd like you to also jump onto UFC Wreckage on Facebook. Their Twitter handle and their website is MMA Wreckage.
We also have MMA UK, and their Twitter handle is We Are MMA UK.
Jump on to Facebook to Fighting and MMA.
We also have on Facebook and Twitter The Real MMA Talk.
And last but not least, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter. Can't miss them. If you like a giggle, you like a laugh, jump onto Funny MMA, kind of putting a light-hearted view on the aspects of MMA and the goings-ons.
I thought it was serious.
Exactly. So that's what you want to jump onto. Now what we're going to do is jump straight in to this week's edition. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to hear us talk much in a sense of, apart from interviews, we're not going to talk much just about bits and bobs, because
I can hear the cheers already.
I can hear everyone cheering and shouting and going, shut up already. But we are literally this week going to have 4 guests on and just quickly mention the UFC Seoul card, and that is all we're going to do this week.
Because that is basically all there is.
Well, that's what we've got, and that's all we've got for you, because we've got a lot of guests in the pipe, which we're scheduling to speak to them shortly, and they'll be on next week's podcast and the week after, and there's a lot going on at the moment. This week's a little quiet one, just a build up.
I think everything's sort of warming up ready for
the
week.
Yeah.
Well, I myself will be jumping on a plane come Monday to bugger off to Vegas, because there's a couple of little events out there.
Sunday?
No, Sunday off the island, Monday to Vegas.
Yeah. And so we're going to just quickly jump in to let you know who we're having on. We have 4 guests, like I said. We have the main event on the upcoming Shamrock FC card, which is Fredrick Brown against Bobby Brents for the heavyweight title. Those 2 dudes are going to come and chat to us. Then we'll be talking to Brian Davidson, who takes on Chris Pecero, who is also on. He's going to speak. Brian Davidson having his last bout ever as a professional mixed martial artist, hanging up the gloves after this. They're on a Titan FC 36 card. And in between those in between those guests, we're going to talk about the UFC Seoul event that happened recently, and talk about the couple of fights that happened there.
Yeah, there was actually an event there.
So now we're just going to quickly jump over to our interviews first and get them out of the way, so to speak, so we can talk about the eventful UFC Seoul card, which is a bit of sarcasm. We have Fredrick Brown and Bobby Brent. Here is both of the big boys talking to us now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Fredrick Brown. Now, sir, you are taking on Bobby Brent for the heavyweight title online. It's Shamrock FC. We love when a heavyweight fight goes down. Yourself, you're a very good prospect in the heavyweight division. And do you feel that getting this title with Titan FC, Shamrock FC, will this kind of, I believe, from what I know, is it links you into a Bellator contract, if I'm right.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but the thing is, you're not obviously new to Bellator anyway, because you've competed on there before. So, do you feel that obviously getting the win with the Shamrock, just getting the title, going back to Bellator, it doesn't really shock you, really? I suppose going back to Bellator, was there a reason why you're not there now?
I mean, no, it's just, I don't know, I haven't had the proper fights, I guess. The most notable fights, and fighting through Shamrock would probably, be my opening.
And with Bobby Brents, the guy you're fighting, he is a far more experienced opponent. Do you feel that, he hasn't been as active? Do you feel that you probably have the upper hand with your experience with Bellator, maybe? Do you think that's something that will play a part in this fight?
No, I don't believe they'll be a part in the fight, man, because, again, he has more experience than me. I mean, he's been around for a while. I mean, because I fought on a different card, make him less experienced than I am. I'm like super stoked right now. You understand, like, to be fighting.
Because it's a good fight for Shamrock FC to have, and it's...
Yes.
Yeah, it is a really good matchup. And Jesse, Shamrock FC are really starting to, they're starting to build up that momentum with establishing really great cards for people to watch and tune into. Have you found your relationship with Jesse, working with the Shamrock side of things?
I'm like really happy. I like working with him. It's been cool so far.
Now, I've got to ask, what about, do you watch your opponent then, Bobby Brents, the guy you're fighting? Do you watch his footage then? Is it, do you kind of leave it to your coaches? What's your kind of method with getting ready for a fight then?
Just basically, do what I do. Basically, is just go in there and fight our fight. We really don't have nothing set up for a person per se. It's just whatever comes across the table is exactly what we deal with it.
Right, well, big question me and Mike speak about this often, isn't it? And a big factor with heavyweights is, they've got to be careful with the cardio side of things because, you're not small guys. It's not like you're 125 pounds. So, when you expend your energy, when you throw a punch, yeah, there's a lot of power in your punches, but you're expending quite a lot of energy, my man. Do you focus a lot on your conditioning to make sure that you've got that, that you can get that third round in you and keep on the pressure on if it came to that situation?
Yes. Yeah, you have to focus on it, especially being with the heavyweight division.
And do you do anything specific? Do you do anything specific for that, man? Do you maybe go and do anything particular to kind of get that condition up to that level? Because obviously you can do fight training, but is there anything else you do for it?
Not really. I just train like I normally train, but I'm gung-ho. I'm trying to get in there, get it over with. Really, I don't really sit up for the third round or anything because there's no plans to be there.
I like that mindset. I like that mindset, man.
You're throwing it all on red.
Yeah. And you don't get paid overtime, like they say. You don't get paid per round.
Yeah, if it goes that way and we hit that round, then I'm gonna have to schedule it in my next training session.
That's a nice way to do, man. Okay then. So what have you been doing? Obviously, it's early in your MMA career. If you look at it from that perspective, what do you feel? With the experience that you've got in the fights that you've had so far, what have you taken from them to maybe work on? Is there anything that you felt that you've worked on and grown since maybe a couple of fights that you've had that you thought maybe I wasn't that strong on? Is there anything you could elaborate on that you don't mind letting, say, for example, if Bobby was to listen to it, no, you say, yeah, I was weak on my takedown defense, I've nailed it now. Is there anything like that?
Well, if you look at the times, besides my one loss I was called day of, and I, had no sleep, no nothing. I was actually called that day. That's the only reason I can't, put anything towards that fight. But all my other fights, man, I haven't had enough time in the ring or cage to actually gauge and look at my fights and sit there and say what I did and did wrong or did right. Because, they just was over so quick.
So you maybe need a third round then? That's probably what he needs, 3 rounds.
He needs nicer corner staff. That's what it is.
So then obviously you're just picking everything up from training, I suppose, and that's the only way you can do it. Being a heavyweight then, is it hard to find decent sparring partners? We've spoke to previous heavyweights, and is it difficult to find heavyweights around then to kind of maybe grapple with and spar with? Is it hard?
That is extremely hard around here in America. Down here in Kansas, they're really either you are completely inexperienced or you just one of them big guys that walk around and don't want to have anything to do with it. And most guys run around, it's hard to find heavyweights that are even as hard.
I was thinking, do you then have to maybe outsource yourself in a way that, for example, because it's difficult to find someone. I know that Junior Dos Santos is at ATT at the moment training, for example. Would you think to yourself, right, maybe I need to go and find a heavyweight? Maybe I'm just spitting JDS out because I can just think of him off the top of my head. Do you think to yourself, right, I need to go there to maybe get some sparring with a heavyweight so that, you know, you can an experienced heavyweight fight, let's say. Have you thought about doing something like that?
I've considered it, but I mean, I'm still a working man out here. So I mean, I got a family and a business to take care of. So I mean, I can't up on a whim just leave. I got to work with what I have around me. And once I breach that contract era where it becomes more of a job and it starts taking over my business, then I can focus more on leaving. But right now, man, I'm almost 40 years old and I got kids and a wife to take care of.
I know, family first. You're spot on there, sir. I commend you for that. Now, what do you find then? Obviously, because you'll be rolling with lighter guys and sparring with lighter guys. Do you think that will actually help with your reaction time? You know, because they're going to be their speed.
Yeah.
Their speed is a big factor, I'd imagine. Then, do you feel that that's maybe one advantage that you've been given? The fact that if you do spar with a guy that's lighter and roll them, you'll have that advantage with that speed aspect. You know, seeing things a lot quicker. Because if you fight a heavyweight, they are going to be a bit slower.
I mean, I've noticed, you know, Bobby ain't he's not a slow heavyweight. I have to give him credit on that. He is quite fast for his size. So this actually works in my favor to help me out with somebody as fast as him, working with the smaller guys. And I appreciate that, I mean, because I'm a smaller heavyweight too. I'm not 230, and so I'm still on the small end myself. So I have to use speed as my advantage.
So do you find? So have you not thought about? Well, could you cut to 205 then, or is that something that's maybe crossed your mind at all, or do you just feel happy at the weight you're at?
Well, I've tried, and I'm genetically stuck. Pretty much. I mean, I know people say you're not, but I'm really genetically stuck at 230. I am genetically. I mean, like, this is me 24/7. I can't. I'm cut before. I made it to 218. Couldn't go any further, and I mean, I got to deal. I got to work with the hand that's given to me, and that's the hand that's dealt to me, and I got to work with it. And if I got to fight the big boys, I got to fight the big boys.
Well, 230. There's a lot of guys that have fought around that weight. You know,
well, they actually seem to say that seems to be like
It's
around about 240. I think is the
kind of
they say
optimal.
the optimum heavyweight.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to get 5 pounds heavier.
You need to eat some more Christmas pies.
Put some tomato sauce on your dinner.
Yeah, it's come to Christmas soon, you know. Get some more
Put some
cake.
cream on those pies.
Well, if you don't mind pushing it back a few more weeks, you know, I can probably grab the Christmas dinner and do that.
yeah. I'll have second servings.
Is there any Thanksgiving left over?
That you know, that's the thing. That the heavyweight division, not just just on a whole global level, it is one of those intriguing things when you kind of look at fighters and the weight. It's such a vast difference in weight. You know, because you could literally be 210 pounds and be a heavyweight, which, you know, you have a really bad.
You could be 207.
It'd be a really bad day in the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, being 230 then, like you say, speed is your advantage, and I suppose do you work a lot of explosive exercise techniques then to kind of emphasize that then in your fighting style.
I mean, if you call throwing my fist explosive, those are explosive techniques I'm gonna have, or what I usually work.
Hey man, we're looking forward to seeing the explosive movements that you've got on the Shamrock card. I won't lie, you know, it's going to be awesome to see it.
Gunslinging.
Yeah, you know, hey, if there's heavyweights are fighting, it's not usually going to be a free rounder. It's not very often. So I am usually one to watch the heavyweight bouts.
You need to go to the toilet beforehand so you don't miss anything.
I'm not going to. Yeah, exactly. It's not. So I look forward to watching the fights, man. So you must obviously be amped up for it, and it's, you know, I'm sure you're excited. I'm sure your family's excited too. And for people who want to fight it, they can watch it. Sorry, they can jump on the Shamrock website if they're not able to get tickets to the event. They can always watch it anywhere online, which is always a good thing to have. For yourself, if I wanted to maybe jump online and give you a follow, see how your MMA career is going, and support it, how can I or everyone else do that, man?
You catch me on Pure Black on Facebook or under Induction Racing's business through Facebook or online. Or, get on my gym's page, La Silva MMA out of Derby, Kansas.
There you go.
Catch the fight Saturday. I'm selling out. I'm going for it. I'm not holding anything back. It's going to be exciting. So, all I can tell you is stay at your seat. Don't drink your beer. Don't grab popcorn. Keep an eye on the ring. I'm going in. I'm going for it out the gate. So if Bobby's listening, let him know. I'm not one of them dudes who's going to hold back and wait on him to come to me. I'm going to get him. I don't care what's coming. I don't care what's going. Live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that's my rule of thumb.
I tell you what, I wish I was bloody going to the fight now. I wish I was cage side. Now, man, that sounds like a hell of a statement to make, and I think people who are going to the event are going to be excited to hear about that, to be excited to watch it, sorry. Then, what about your sponsors, man? Who's been supporting you in the fight camp and stuff, and, helping you out?
The Silva MMA, Derby, Kansas, once again, Induction Racing, LCB Management out of Hutchinson, Kansas. And that's about it for sponsors so far.
No, that's good. It's good you got people there helping you out. Any sponsor's a good sponsor, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100 sponsors. It's great that fighters get that support anyway. And last but not least, man, you want to give a thanks to your coaches. You say you've got your other half and your family. Give thanks to your family and people like that.
Yeah. I'd like to thank my wife, Shannon, for being her best supporter, my brother-in-law, Cecil Lloyd. And I'd like to send a shout-out to all of my fans out there, especially the ones that are banking on me losing. I'd like to send a shout-out to them, too. I love you guys, too. You make it all possible because you motivate me. And, thank Shamrock for giving me this opportunity.
Like I said before, Shamrock FC, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in either online or get tickets to the event if you can. You've got heavyweight bout. It's going to be fantastic. You got Mr. Fredrick Brown with us now taking on the Bobby Brents. That strap is going on someone's waist or on their arm, whatever. They're going to be pleased as punch when they win. Fredrick, have a great fight. Have a great weekend. Have a great event. Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, have fun. Thank you very much for speaking with us today. And, just enjoy yourself.
All right, thank you, man. You guys are awesome. And, Wichita, Kansas, make sure you root that. Don't say Kansas City. I know people forget about Wichita, but it's Wichita, Kansas.
There you go, Wichita, Kansas. There you go. Even out there, I'll help you. I'll say it out.
Little small town in the middle of Kansas. We here.
Okay, firstly, Bobby, thank you for coming on to speak with us. You're going to be fighting on the Shamrock FC card 5th of December, which is very soon indeed. Now, you are taking on Fredrick Brown for the heavyweight title, so it's always nice when a bit of silverware is up for grabs. Main event in the Shamrock FC card as well, I should say. I assume you're just wanting to get in the cage now. Time is just watching the clock go by very slowly. It must be itching away at you.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to fight months ago, so I can't wait to get in there, show what I can do.
Now we've already spoke to Fredrick, and he is looking to bring a fight. He's not looking to be backing off. He's wanting to bring a fight to you. He's wanting to basically go toe to toe in a way. He is amped up probably as much as you are. So I won't lie. I'm pretty much expecting a great battle of two guys who have got big bollocks to stand there and throw down. Is that what I should be expecting?
Pretty much. If he wants to take it to me, he needs to know that's going to be a mistake for him. Because unlike him, I got the cardio to keep it up for the next 4 rounds.
Now, me and Mike spoke with him about this. We said that in the heavyweight division, it is a big key factor, cardio. It's huge. It is. It's one of them ones where it's simple science, because the bigger you are, the more you got to carry, the more energy you expel when you move. It's just simple science. So Are you one of them fighters, or one of those people, should I say, Rob? It's not just fighters, it could be any sports. Do you just, have you always had good cardio, your VO2's always been good, or do you work specifically to do something to get that VO2 up?
At first, it probably was a little bit problematic, but once I got it up to a certain level, it's hard to lose for me personally. I've gone months without training, and just so I can get out of shape, and it don't happen. So I don't know how everyone else works, but I pretty much stay at the same cardio level as always.
And do you then, is that also a factor in the fact that you can manage your energy output, so to speak? You don't go in there and you don't throw 100%. You don't wing it for 5 minutes in the first round, and then you're blowing out your ass for the next few rounds. Are you quite? Have you got the kind of knowledge to know how to pace your fighting then? Because obviously you're an experienced fighter, so you've been in there before.
You know how to budget it, like.
Yeah. So is this something that's a big factor in your skill set that you've got?
So yeah, that's probably a very big skill factor when it comes to the heavyweight division and comes to myself. I'm pretty much, if he wants to go out there and wing it, that's fine and dandy, but like I said, I got gas, so I'm coming in with a full tank.
Now,
what I've seen of him, he doesn't seem to last too long.
Now, he said that, he goes, he's not in there, he's not wanting to go, rounds. He wants to go in, get one round and get out. And you know what, guys, a known fighter gets paid overtime. You don't get paid per round and all this. So I think every fighter would ideally like to go in for 30 seconds and get out.
But things don't always run to plan.
It's kind of like when you're with the missus. 30 seconds and you're out,
John's just speaking for himself there.
Yeah. But
John's normally happy when he gets 30 seconds in.
Yeah, that's usually twice. 30 seconds to get in there twice.
Yeah.
But
don't forget, for every in, there's an out.
Now, with the fight and you're getting the strap, I believe from what we know is there is a little Bellator contract on offer for champions in the Shamrock promotion. I think it's a great idea that Shamrock have got this link with Bellator that Jesse and Scott have got. Is that something that adds to the fight for you?
I'm just trying to win. I win every fight. Every fight for me is for a belt, so I'm just going to go out there, take it to him, try to get this W, and then move on to the next person. I'm not really concerned with what he brings afterwards. I'm addicted to fighting, so that's what I do.
And well, I was going to say, because like I say, you've had more than a couple of fights, so you've got that experience to keep obviously evolving with the sport. You can't just have the same. You don't have. I assume you're not the same fighter you were when you first fought. What is it what do you do then when you're at the gym to try and always change things up, or try and maybe add something to your game? Do you go to different gyms? Do you go with different coaches? What do you do yourself?
Me personally, I've traveled around training with a lot of good guys, and I've lived a fighter life before, and what I've come to notice is all pretty much the same. A lot of people, they kind of get with guys and they stay stagnant. I'm not one of those guys, though. I'm constantly trying to learn. Like I tell the guys that I coach and train right now, good luck catching up with me because I'm constantly learning if they're just starting out. So I'm not really one of those guys. Like if I see something, I'll like it, I'll train it, and then I'll try to figure out 100,000 ways to do that same thing differently, or do something different that no one's doing, or just not afraid to try different things for the same result.
I tell you what, the answer's never kung fu, is it?
No, it's never kung fu. I've noticed that as well, or Wing Chun. But what I noticed, Bobby, whenever I get a couple of injuries or something, I would kind of I would turn up to training and I'd watch guys do stuff. And like you say, I would see a lot then from that. I would notice guys doing they were doing certain techniques, and I was doing it myself. But then I noticed when I stood back and looked at it, there was ways to improve it. Have you noticed then coaching maybe things that helped you out, and maybe if, like you say, you saw something you added to it? Is that from coaching? Have you seen something that maybe have helped has improved your game?
I'd say so. Pretty much, you got to master the basics. I mean, there's not too many guys aren't winning by crazy techniques. You know, that's every once in a while type stuff. That's why when it happens, it's like, oh shit. But overall, the basics are what wins. So if you can master the basics, you're gonna be pretty good.
So we're expecting to see you do a crane kick and a spinning heel kick then.
Hey, if it's open, I'll take it.
I look forward to it.
I love it. Shamrock FC, like I said before, they're starting to establish themselves as a very well reputable promotion to be on. Very, very well connected. Jesse's a great guy. You know, he seems to be doing a lot of work, and he puts in a lot of bloody hours into promotion and a lot of effort he does. Fighting and main eventing, does it for you? You know, I think for any fight, I think it's nice to be a main event. Do you feel then when you're main event, do you feel a bit more of pride stepping into that cage, being the main event, being given that recognition, and is there some, does that kind of add to something to the event for you?
I mean, it's a good thing, but at the same time, I kind of like to just get in there and just get it over with, and let's move on to the next one. You know, I appreciate them making me the main event. I always appreciate if I am the main event. Shows that they have a lot of respect for me and what I bring to the table. But I hate waiting backstage. I hate it. What a lot of guys will notice, like I'll be the main event, but I'm back there warming up, you know, with the preliminary card guys, and I don't stop until I'm in the cage. So I'm just, you know, kind of antsy, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bobby. It is the most frustrating thing sitting in the back. You know, I think I was. Well, how long was I in the back? I think I've been behind the back one time for about 6 hours waiting to fight. It's the worst thing ever when you're when you're about to fight. You just but Bobby, I'm with it. It's awful, isn't it? You just think I've got to kill time here. I've got to kill 6 hours of my life.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's nauseating how boring it is back there. One of my sponsors actually, I had him in my corner my last fight, and I was like, I had him all hyped up like he was ready to go. We came downstairs from the hotel room. We're in the venue, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "You ready?" And he's looking at me like, "Yeah." And then I sit down, and I'm like, "Well, enjoy sitting the next 5 hours." It was pretty. I don't know. I just kind of keep it light back there. Tell a few jokes, mess with some people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's all you pretty much can do.
Yeah, it is. It literally is one of them things. It's just a conversation and kind of just anything to distract yourself, kind of thing. I think what you should do is, I think every event should have an Xbox in, and all the guys should play Call of Duty or something just to kill a bit of time, having a bit of fun with that. I think something like that on multiplayer. Or what it should do is make it go online. Then you have those 13-year-old kids shooting you in the head, and they swear and take the piss out of you, so it gets you proper amped up for when you go to fight. I think that's an idea. I think I should post out there to the UFC or something. I think it'll work.
That'd be awesome.
It would.
That'd be great.
They'd only let you play the UFC
That would
game.
be.
Yeah, I think
You'd
it
be like,
would.
how do I bend my legs like that?
Yeah, I know. The UFC game's a bit diffier,
Skew
you know.
whiff.
But yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. I think bit Call of Duty, little 13-year-old kid taking the piss out of you because they're shooting the shit out of you. You get amped up, wanting to kill him, so you have to go in the cage fight your opponent. I'm telling you, I think you'd see a lot more finishes in fights. I'm telling you. But yeah, Bobby, I know I've got a multi-million-pound business idea there. I'm not. And people might take it. Oh no,
There are no multi-million
Shut up.
in MMA.
Nah, yeah, not MMA.
Yeah.
But
I'd say that's another sport.
Bobby, look, you're going to fight this weekend against Fredrick Brown. It's going to be a main event. It's going to be one for people to tune into. They can go into the Shamrock FC website to watch it if they wish. They can pay for it if they can't get to the venue themselves. But if they want to jump on and give Bobby you a follow, maybe join on your kind of journey that you've got in the MMA world already, how can they do that, my friend?
You can pretty easy to contact, Facebook, Bobby Brents. I don't have a fan page. I think it's kind of weird when people have like multiple pages and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to hit me up on my personal Facebook, that's fine, dandy. Also, you can get me out on Twitter at the Garage Zombie MMA, and just shoot me a line. Tell me how awesome I am or how much I suck. Either way, thanks for researching me.
Yeah, any attention's good attention.
I think trolls should only be able to
keyboard warriors
talk face to face.
Keyboard warriors should all be face to face. Bobby, what about your sponsors, man? What sponsors you got out there?
Right now I got Major on Subway, one of my sponsors. I got the Body Quest store here. I mainly try to keep it local. Laces Footwear, Elite Martial Arts, Taekwondo, and Hapkido. Alpha Design. I know I'm leaving some people out, and I apologize for it, but you guys put me on the spot.
Yeah, we like to do that. We like to catch people out. Neon
by Visalis. Just picked those guys up as a sponsor. Pretty good stuff. If you don't like all those monsters and all that, this stuff actually tastes good and a lot better for you.
Are you married? You must have been put on the spot before.
And what about obviously coaches, training partners, family, people like that? You want to give a shout out to any of them?
Oh yeah, my wife, Jessica Brents, my kids, Aunt Taya, Ellie, all my training partners, everyone that comes over here at the garage, just helps me prepare for war.
Now, Bobby, we never say good luck because it's all about, like you say, hard work, graft, and time that you put into the training. So have a great fight. Have a great weekend at Shamrock FC.
Have fun.
And put on a great fight for the fans. They're the lucky people who are going to be cage side watching it. They're going to be very lucky to watch the bout. So, honestly, have a great time. Thank you so much for your time speaking with us. It's been great having you on, Bobby, and really do enjoy yourself.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you.
And there you go. That was Fredrick and Bobby there talking to us about how they aim to win that heavyweight title at Shamrock FC and get a nice bit of silverware on the waist before Christmas time comes up. So we're going to now address the UFC Fight Night 79 card, which was Henderson versus Masvidal in South Korea. Now, albeit we got our picks all right, spot on for the main event. We cleaned house. Now, the first fight in the card was Do Hoo Choi against Sam Cecilia on the main card. And as predicted, it was a beautiful finish, though, by Do Hoi Choi. I think we'll pronounce it like that.
Which one was he?
He was one who wasn't Sam Cecilia in the cage. There you go.
Yeah, it's... I like Sam, but I just thought you'd maybe come unstuck in this one.
Well, he came unstuck due to the fact, like I said the other week, the kid's got power. The kid's got lovely 1-2, and it's exactly, again, kind of basically the punches that were finishing Sam. It was actually a short right hand that finished Sam Cecilia. He came in for a strike, and it was a beautiful head movement and follow through with the right hand, and it just wobbled Sam Cecilia to the ground, and it was just a quick finish after that with a handful of a barrage of punches. But again, for Sam Cecilia, he's one of them fighters where, yes, he may be game to fight, but do you know what? He's never going to get anywhere above really where he is now in that kind of rankings and where his position is in the fight game. Yeah. I think if he was to be cut, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm brutally honest.
Which I think would be a shame because he's always in entertaining fights. The UFC.
I know he's on a 2-fight win streak, but it's not the. It's the fact that he's not one of those guys who's ever going to go anywhere else, and he's never going to be. You're never going to see him fighting for the title. I don't think you'll ever see him break the top 10. To be honest, I just think he's a fighter that he's in that kind of ballpark outside of the rankings, going to stay around there. Is he maybe one of them ones where you think he's not going to be a future superstar? So maybe if we ship him off, get someone in who could be. You know,
Yeah,
you got to think of a business sense.
You
got to think of a business sense, and Sam maybe can go to elsewhere and maybe have a bit more success. But we're not the owners of the UFC, so that's just something out there. Now we have Alberto Mina against Yoshiro Akiyama, sexy armor time, who looks pretty good for a 40-year-old, I have to say. Like, that dude has got some hell of a genetic display going on right now.
I know, I had the same problem.
Yeah.
I just covered mine with a hoodie.
Yeah, you are. When you're... All the crowd was
Once
cooing.
the all goes on.
Yeah, the crowd were all cooing at Akiyama when he took his top off, and that's what women do when you take your top off as well. They all do, vomit.
I don't like, I don't like to brag.
So, now it was a decision win for Alberto Mina, and I'll be honest, do I think it was controversial? I'm not sure if I would say it was controversial, but I will say it was a bit of a tough one to call, because I don't think Alberto Mina was the best in the fight.
Well, he definitely... Yeah, his game's not complete, is it?
Well, the reason why I say that, Alberto Mina, he was coming off second best, especially in the grappling exchanges from Akiyama, and it just wasn't looking very fluid. Now, again, it's probably due down to a serious lack of consistency in fighting, but then again, you're fighting a guy who doesn't fight himself very often and consistent.
I really use that excuse.
In Akiyama, yeah. So,
like 3 fights in the last 4 years or something.
Now, Mina has kept his undefeated record in place, but if he fights a guy who is fighting regularly, I don't know how well he will do in that fight, because he did look a little bit off the pace. Now, albeit there could be travel, it could be a huge factor that we don't know about how much it took a toll.
Yeah,
it is a big thing. You've got to travel from one country to another. It's a long journey to South Korea. It's not a 5-minute journey.
Well, also that time on the plane, with that dodgy air and all that,
You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait on the plane, because while you're on there, it's not like you can eat there anything you want. It's not like airplane food is the healthiest. So yeah, but Akiyama though, he said he's not going to hang up the gloves, so to speak, after this fight. But again, it's 5 losses now in the UFC. He's 2-5. What do you do with a guy like that? The UFC use him purely.
I was going to say what they'll do is they'll put him back in his box, pour the polystyrene over him, and open it up again next time they go
to Asia. Yeah, and the problem is, I think that's what he is there for. He is literally, because he is huge. There, he is huge. He's on a TV show with his daughter.
Imagine
and all
if
sorts.
Brad Pitt was an MMA fighter.
He is massive. He's a huge star, and he doesn't necessarily need this. He just
enjoys it.
But when he does it, he gets a hell of a crowd in. So I don't know I don't know what's going to happen in the future with him. If he retired, I will be honest, I think it would suit him. I don't know why he doesn't retire. Maybe if the UFC release him, you might see him on this new promotion, Risen, or One FC or Road FC. There's multiple of Asian promotions out there. I wouldn't mind seeing him on them instead, because he might probably have a bit more success.
There's a bit of money out there as well.
Well, he'd have more success, and plus he'll bring in the public eye to that promotion.
Yeah, you may be able to watch him win.
Well, no, it's not that I was watching him win. I think it would look good for that promotion to have someone like that, because it'll bring the numbers in. It'll bring in people who follow him in, who aren't fans of the sport. They're fans of him as a star, so to speak, a superstar. And I think that'll be a better fit. But again, we'll see what happens with him. Co-main event now was Dominic Waters. Obviously, like you said, the card got jigged around a bit. Dominic Waters against Dong Hun Kim, and that was a splendid display by Dominic Waters, I have to say. Absolutely superb in getting mollywopped by Dong Hun Kim. He lost via a TKO, and I've got to be honest, I'm not going to put down Dominic Waters. He stepped up the mark, and it was a bit too much of a step up too early for him. Dong Hun Kim, I said it before, he is one of them guys who, even though he's at the latter stage of potentially getting a title run in, he's a very dangerous fighter. He's got really good hands. He's got very strong grappling. And that little slip against Tyron Woodley was literally a slip, because I don't think it was a bigger win as Tyron Woodley made out. And I think for Kim, it's a good chance now for him to push on again for another little title run. I really do. I think Dominic Waters is not the biggest name for him to win against, but he's got another win. That's him with a 2-fight win streak. Here he goes again. I'd love to see who he gets matched up with next. I think maybe he might get someone. He might get the winner of Gunnar Nelson or Damian Maia, possibly. I would love that actually to happen. I think that would be a suitable.
Interesting.
I think that would be a suitable fight for him to have, because he's not a guy who's low in the rankings. He's a very able body in that division, and I think he should fight someone like that at that level. But
that welterweight division's scary.
It is, but he might even get Hector Lombard. Who knows? But
I think Rory's chasing that one down.
So next up, well, it's not Rory chasing it; it's Hector. Next up, we'll have the main event, which was Benson Henderson against Jorge Masvidal, and it turned out to be a split decision to Mr. Benson Henderson on his final UFC fight of his contracted fights. Anyway,
yeah, we said it'd be tight. We kind of went how we said it'd go. Like, we said it'd be tight, but it would come down to the experience at the high level. All those 5-round fights just paying off.
And the other factor is, I know Jorge Masvidal is a veteran. Best way to put it, he is a veteran of the sport, just like Benson Henderson is. Benson Henderson was already pre-prepping for a 5-round fight. Jorge Masvidal wasn't. Now, he is fight ready, and he was in good condition anyway. And he could have done, and he did do the 5 rounds. But prepping for a 5-round fight, I think Jorge's conditioning, he would have probably been able to put a little bit more into it in each round. He would only maybe be, if he was having a 3-round fight, he could have put maybe, say, a consistent percentage of effort in. Because it was a 5-round fight, he probably did have to slow down a little bit here and there and pace himself.
And Benson is a busy fighter.
He is.
He is on you.
He's pressure. He's
a very
trying
to
pressure
shake
fighter.
him off. He's not.
He is a pressure fighter.
Yeah, exactly. So,
lovely grappling exchanges. It wasn't deemed by many of the media outposts as a spectacle, and to be brutally honest, it wasn't that kind of fight. It was very much two guys with a hell of a lot of experience and history and knowledge, literally trying to outsmart each other and outthink each other.
It was like an intense chess game.
They just kept cancelling each other out, and do you know what? It's a beautiful thing, and do you know what? Neither could crack each other really, in essence, because neither were finished, obviously, and I think that shows that they obviously came up from 155. There was a lot of things that kind of rang similar bells. And Jorge people don't realise how good he is as a fighter. And look at him, he went the distance with Benson Henderson.
I don't think he did himself an awful lot of harm in that fight.
Split decision as well. I don't think there's a lot of harm done in that fight. For Benson Henderson, though, super interesting what happens here. Last fight of his contract with the UFC, he said he's going to leave himself to the open market, see what happens.
Which is... Yeah,
super.
That's really interesting.
It's great because there's a lot of points to look at this. Now, obviously, Road FC have come in straight away and said they're looking to offer him a $200,000 contract. Now, that doesn't. They haven't went into detail what that implies, how it's structured, maybe, or whatever. But already there's a big. And now, what also this means, ladies and gentlemen, with being a free agent, I think it's a 90-day period where he has the option. The UFC have an option to offer him a contract. Once that's up, then if any promotion maybe offer him, for example, the UFC offer him $200,000, the UFC have to match that for him to stay with them. Otherwise, he can go off to Tom, Dick, willy-nilly, anyone he wants. I like that that's happened, because Benson Henderson originally, he's on 40, well, from what we last know, he's on 48,000. And that's what's been publicly released anyway, that's all we know. It's a bit of a step up, considering he's got a wife, little, family and all that stuff.
See, what it does, I'm trying to think if that's like the first former champion that's gone on the open market from the UFC.
Gilbert Melendez.
He never won the UFC title.
Was a Strikeforce champion, though.
Exactly.
Now, and he was a huge name. He was the number one contender as well.
And the thing is, he ended up with a sackload of money.
He did. He ended up with a sackload of money. Yeah,
so,
he did. And then he got stunned, and then he's out. So yeah, that kind of went well.
Yeah, but that was down to himself.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that definitely worked. What I'm saying is you might get more and more high-profile fighters that will do this, and it will hopefully start to change the game at the top level.
John Jones
in pay.
John Jones.
Yep, he may do the same.
John Jones has been open about it. He's quite the way he's talked, the way he's spoken, suggested that he's open to going elsewhere. And I think that if someone like him can do it, if we could. I'm not saying I want every champion to just go away and all this stuff, but what I
enough to make it interesting, you know, because it will
like,
filter down.
Well, I like the fact that you got Josh Thompson went off as well, and he was a former champion in Strike Force as well. You know, as another former champion, another 155. I like the fact that these guys are maybe potentially going to go elsewhere. For Henderson as well, it makes a lot of sense doing it because I think his mother's South Korean or something like that. I think it is.
Yeah. So he has an interest in the Far East.
So that is huge for him in that market. He will have a lot of pull power. You know, you've got ONE FC also who might even want to throw an offer in.
I think.
And if
as I said, we're not after killing the UFC or anything.
If he fights at 170 as well, think ONE FC. What match can you do there?
Oh yeah, you've got
Askren and Henderson. No, they train at the MMA lab together. You can't do it.
You can't.
Tits McGee, that's shit. So ONE FC ain't going to offer form, are they?
No,
that's a shame.
No.
Unless he went down to 155, Henderson. But
yeah. But it's interesting, and I think that it might actually help fighter pay in the long run.
You'd like it to do that.
Yeah, you might get the dribble effect where it might just start to alter things and.
But I would actually like it to happen where a lot of fighters ended up maybe dispersing to other promotions, and do you know what
because it'll even everything else up. The UFC will probably always be Everest.
It will be. You'll never get they'll never get as big as that. Now the thing is, Bellator, with Bellator, like we said before, when we had Front Row Brian on, they have got the Viacom as their primary owner, and Viacom are a multi-billion-pound company, so it's the equivalent of having the Fertitas. Like the Fertitas are ridiculously, wealthy.
To pump money into the UFC,
so they can put money in the UFC, and it's just like Viacom are the equivalent of that, and they pump the money in. So Viacom. But
you know what? It's like the UFC have an awful lot of revenue that you would think they could just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to change massively, all the way down.
No.
But it can't do any harm. No,
no
one's going to get paid less because of the evening out.
Yeah, we won't find out until January, February, really what's going on with Benson Henderson and his contract, and what he decides to do and where he decides to go, and what the UFC decide to potentially offer him. So, we'll see what goes down there. It will be interesting. I really do think it will be. We're going to go now to our next guests that we have on. This is Titan FC card that we got in December. Brian Davidson, he's having his last professional bout, and he's taking on Chris Pecero, and it's a nice moment for Brian to have his final fight. He's fighting against a guy again, and Chris who's going to really test him. So here is both of the guys talking about the bouts. Okay, Titan FC 36. Brian Davidson, you are getting on the show again on Fight Pass. You'll be able to exhibit your skill set that you have. We enjoyed your last fight that you showed us on Fight Pass last time you were on there. Now, you are on a lovely little win streak, but it seems that the win streak is going to come to an end, isn't it, in theory?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? I look to get this last win here, and after that, I am looking to hang the gloves up. So, it's gonna be a good fight. I'm definitely looking to win, get the finish, in any way possible. If it's a submission, great. If it's a knockout, TKO, whatever, I'll take it. I'm really not interested in going the distance this fight. And then afterwards, I'd like to have my hand raised and enjoy that retirement victory.
So what's the reason then for basically hanging up the boots? Hanging up the gloves, sorry, hanging up the boots. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just turned 40, so I started my martial arts training when I was 10 years old, and so I'm at 30 years now in this game. Starting as a traditional martial artist, in Taekwondo, just sticking with that, going through all the ranks, degrees, being an instructor, school owner, and turn that into, Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu, and then MMA, and started doing, mixed martial arts, probably, I want to say 2006, started fighting, and turned pro in 2007 or 8, something like that, and, here I am, 13 and 4, and, it's just been a long road, and It's been awesome, but, you know, I don't know how much longer I can actually, you know, sustain the training regimen and, you know, personal life, the balance. It's kind of tough.
It's actually good to hear somebody going out on their terms when they decide. Yeah. So hats off for you.
Yeah,
for that one.
It's good. It's good that you can, you know when to. Some fighters will not accept that moment when they just think they're not being logical. They're just having that. It's more testosterone really that's driving them on. It's that macho kind of feel.
So you're the only person in MMA then that made seriously big money, pop stars wages.
So say it again. I'm sorry.
You're the only person in the MMA that made massive money.
Yeah. You know, I'm trying to be smart, make good choices in my, you know, in anything that I do, whether it be MMA or outside my personal life and my family. You know, I'm a husband and a dad, and I got to provide. I'm a boss. You know, I'm a school owner. I have employees, and I just got to be smart. You know, I got to make good choices with things, and so, you know, maybe one part of me still wants to compete and train and you know, be all about Brian and me. You know, the other side is, you know, I have a lot of responsibilities for other people that look up to me, that rely on me, that I need to be there for as well. So, you know, if MMA, if I made the kind of money in MMA that you know, maybe some of these other professional sports, then maybe I wouldn't hang up the gloves. It would be a financial thing, but you know, the money that I'm making is definitely not enough to support my lifestyle.
When you listed everything you did, then I thought MMA actually sounds like the easiest one out of everything.
Yeah, right. No doubt. It is been enjoyable for me. I love the sport. I really do. You know, you have all these people out in the world that are like, MMA, you cage fighter, this, and that's crazy. I can't believe you get in there and do that. It's like, you know, to me and to probably every fighter listening in, it's a sport. It's what we do. It's our fun, you know. The training, it's our sport. It's our fun. That's what we do to take the stress off. That's what we do to function as a person in society. You know, we're not out there. We're not savages. We're not crazy people. You know, normal people. We just chose this activity, not golf or not tennis. You know, it's just MMA. You know, it's fun for us. We really absolutely enjoy grappling and sparring and those types of things. It's just a different sport, and I love, you know, the sport, and I'm going to continue loving the sport, and I will continue to train. I just won't be able to do it at that high professional level anymore.
So, with this being your last fight camp, then how have you engaged it? You know, knowing that it's your last fight camp, you know, because are you maybe feeling a bit more released? You're a bit more free when you're fighting. Do you feel like there's a bit more of a surge because it's your last one? You want to put more of an effort in to put more of a performance on. You know, what kind of emotions is it in your training camp you're going through then?
Yeah, quite honestly, you know, yeah, I probably should, but I'm not. I'm trying to maintain balance. You know, for my last, you know, several fights, at least 4 or 5, I've tried to maintain balance. So before then, I would go, oh, I got to fight. Everything's about the fight. So I would tune away from the rest of my world and focus 100% on fight. You know, and I'm in the gym every day. I'm twice, 2-3 times a day. I'm, you know, running, I'm biking, I'm swimming, I'm doing all these different things. And, you know, it's all about me. It's all about my fight. It's all about me. It's all my fight. You know, what happened about my wife? You know, what happened about my kids? What happened about my, you know, martial arts studio? What happened? I kind of would neglect everything, and it's all about my fight. All about my fight. And I stopped doing that probably 4 or 5 fights ago. And so you would think, yeah, this is my last fight. I'm going to put all my ducks in, you know, or all my eggs in this basket, and I'm going to go for it. I'm not doing that. You know, I don't think it's smart to do that. So any fighter listening in, you want to have a long career of fighting, you have to learn balance. And, you know, if you don't, you're going to be a good fighter, and you're going to have a no personal life, which is going to turn out to be you're not a good fighter anymore, because you know, the complete person needs more than just, you know, that fighting, you know, is going to be great, but when you have no one to help support you or clap for you, cheer for you, be proud of you, it's not worth it. So, you know, we're all people, you know, and we're wired to be, you know, with people. And so when you get into that tunnel vision mode,
mindset, you're really, missing out on a lot of life. So for this fight, yeah, it's my last one, but I'm doing no different. I'm balancing it. I'm still working. I'm still teaching. Yes, I'm working out more. Yes, I'm dieting properly. But guess what? I'm also playing with my kids and, hanging out with my wife, and I'm still doing all those things. So, yeah.
So now your opponent, it's interesting because you're on I think it's 3-fight win streak. Your opponent's on a 2-fight win streak. You and Chris are coming with a bit of momentum into this fight. So should we expect then a kind of higher level then fight due to the fact that Perry's on a nice little momentum?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be fireworks. I commend the matchmakers for putting this one together. Both of us have some, we're well-rounded, I know my game's evolved. When I first started, I didn't want my fight to hit the floor, and if it did, it was a bad deal for me. And I'm at the point now where it's like I prefer it to be on the floor. And yet I'm a stand-up fighter, so it's kind of changed over the years. And so I know he's the same way. And I know he's got a little wrestling background. I know he's good at jiu-jitsu. He's got some rank there, and he's a great striker. I see his combinations and stuff when I watch his films. So I think it's going to be like a fireworks. It's going to be a good fight. It might be a fight of the night on the card. I don't know. And it's a good card.
Yes, I was going to say it is hard to really pick a fight of the night due to the fact there are a handful of kind of good matchups. Titan have done a good deal for us, I suppose you could say, for Christmas in the build-up.
Oh, yeah.
There are some fantastic fights. And you know what? You've got different, even in different weight classes, not necessarily just in one weight class, there's several weight classes, which it's kind of an appealing kind of card. I'm looking forward to watching it myself. And it's nice. It's on a Friday, so it's a bit different for people, to wait end of the week, sit down, chill out, watch a Titan card on Fight Pass. Which
watch a fight.
I'll be definitely. We'll be in the UK, but we'll be watching it ourselves, me and Mike, won't we?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we'll cuddle up together.
Great.
We'll cuddle up together, won't we, Mike?
Hot water
bottle, blanket, cup of tea.
What's the time difference?
Yeah, we won't need
6 hours or something.
What's that? Sorry.
Is the time difference like 6 hours over there, you guys? 5 or 6 hours from Central Missouri?
That's right.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be on about our third cocoa.
That's cool, though. Well, we appreciate the support, man. We love that you guys are tuning in over there. That's pretty cool.
Hey, we're owning it over here.
Yeah, no, we are.
You watch Tough?
I know.
There's one person flying the flag now for America.
We definitely put.
And we let him stay in.
No, we definitely love to watch it. No,
it's because we like Uriah Faber. Is it we let him stay in?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he doesn't need to.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Yeah, that's funny.
No, mate, it's going to be a great card. And like I say, for your final bout, it's nice that they've matched up with an exciting, kind of fight in Chris, rather than, trying to give you an easier send off. Let's say, because the last thing you want for your last fight is to have an easier opponent. And Titan have stuck to their guns in the sense of they've put you in a matchup which is not an easy matchup. It's one thing that's going to challenge you.
Do you know what I want to know?
Go on.
I want to know, going into this last fight, what's your, knowing that you're in your last fight, last fight camp and all that. What's your favourite memory from your MMA career?
Yeah, I definitely think Titan did a good job on, not giving me a tomato can, so to speak, type of deal. And I appreciate that, because that motivates me, If they did, then my motivation to train and eat right and do all that kind of stuff would be just, gone. And so, therefore, you wouldn't get the best performance out of me either. So I appreciate that they did bring me a good guy. And, I got a lot of people coming to this fight because it's in my hometown. So they're going to, be there. I don't want to let them down. So they're going to, they're going to want to see the best. A lot of them haven't ever seen me even go, fight at all, because they're my new real estate friends in my new career. So they're going to be there watching, and they don't want to see me. I don't want to be the, hey, come watch me fight. Yeah, watch me get beat. So my motivation is pretty high. And so that's pretty cool. And of my MMA career, who sticks out the most? My most notable win, obviously, is the Jens Pulver fight. I'm excited about that fight because I came in there. I was faster, man. I was stronger, faster. I was just better, and my mentality was better, and I think I would have beat him, not just then, I would have beat him when he was in his prime. I think I was just that focused and that ready for that fight. So it really sticks out in my mind. You know, I've had some good fights. I like now that I'm older, you know, every time I fight, they're like, then this guy's 38, 39 years old. And I'm fighting these guys that are 22, 23, 24, 5, 6 years old. And I keep bringing that up, the commentators in the fight, over and over and over. They bring it up. And then when I win, I'm like, yeah, you just got beat by the old man. So that's always fun, too, you know, these young guys who are coming up and fighting this old dude. And it's like, you know, I guess like good genes or something. But, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, 26 years old still as far as physically goes.
Well, the thing is right, you've got a ton of memories. Not just obviously, there could be small memories, big memories, and you're going to have obviously great memories from this bout coming up. And in the future, you like you say, you're not going to be competing, but you'll have memories in the sense of you'll be helping people on their journey in MMA as well. You know, people maybe starting their career, etc. Or you know, you'll be able to give advice. It's, you know, it's not going to stop. That's the great thing about it. You know, you're going to keep getting memories to add on to this, Brian. So you know, we want to say have a great last bout. You know, just have a great time against Chris, and you know, just looking for, and we know you'll enjoy yourself anyway, but just I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time. All the people are going to come and watch you are going to have join in an experience as well with that. And honestly, Brian, thank you obviously for putting all the effort in every fight that you've had in your career. You know, I think as an MMA fighter myself, I appreciate guys like you who stepped into the cage. It takes a lot of balls to step in the cage. People don't understand. Kudos.
Or sometimes stupidity will do where balls fails.
Yeah, but you know, Brian.
Whichever way.
Again, it comes down to balance.
It's balance. It's a bit of both. But Brian, you know, have a great time. But before we let you go, if, like you say, you're a teacher as well, you'll be teaching people. If people want to get in contact with you to maybe, you know, who are in your area that maybe want to get a bit of advice or maybe come and learn from you, how can people do that, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate those kind words and well wishes there. It means a lot to me. I did put it all out there on the cage every time I go. That's for sure. I'm excited too. Shamrock Fighting Championships has given me the opportunity to come on as a commentator, and so I get to call some fights, so I get to stay in the game that way. Also follow Shamrock Fighting Championships, and you'll also hear me talking on those. And then also my Twitter handle is just Mr. D on Twitter. That's my handle there. They won't let you use Twitter as a Twitter handle, so I had to come up with Tweeter. I did that a long time ago, so that's where you find me on Twitter. Facebook, I'm pretty big on there. Brian Davidson on Facebook, and then you have my Mr. D is my nickname, so you'll find my team page to like there, my athlete page or whatever, and Team Davidson's my real estate page, and I've just started a new Twitter, MMA Realtor. So that's pretty cool, and you guys want to start following that. I think I have 2 followers, so we need to get that thing up there. I don't even know who the 2 people are, but 2 people follow the MMA Realtor.
Yeah, we haven't started talking yet.
But I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on today. Appreciate this.
No, it's great, Brian, to have you on anyway.
Pleasure is ours.
Exactly. It's good to kind of talk to you before this, this final curtain comes down on this fighting career, buddy. Honestly, it's a nice thing to have. And Brian, I want to give thanks to coaches. Obviously, don't want to mention any sponsors as well, and just maybe thanks to people in general through your career and that.
Yeah, absolutely. My team from the beginning to the end here is Glory MMA, formerly known as Grindhouse MMA, and Team K2L. So those are my MMA schools, and thanks to James Krause and Tim Elliott, and Anthony Gutierrez, some of those guys even on the fight card, and many, many, many more. I'm sure I'm missing out, on a lot of people. Joe Wooster for managing me my whole career, and Scott Cutbirth for helping out there too. And then, my sponsors, just appreciate, all my sponsors, and you can get on my social media and check out who they are. That's pretty much it, man. Obviously my wife, my kids for supporting me, and Daddy's almost done with it, so I got one more.
And they can have you to themselves for Christmas. Yeah, exactly. So hey, have a great fight, have a great Christmas, and have a great New Year, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, you guys too. Take care over there.
Cheers, buddy.
Appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Okay, Titan FC 36. They've added another name to their roster. Chris, you're joining us. Thank you for your time. Before we get started, it's always great to have new faces on. You're taking on Brian Davidson, who we've seen before fight on a Titan FC card. And also, I know of his kind of background with martial arts. I love the matchup in the sense you've got two experienced martial artists. Were you quite looking forward to getting a matchup like this?
Yes, definitely. He's more than a game opponent. With all of his experience and his credentials and things like that. It's something to definitely look forward to on my end, and also on the fans' end, of course. It's gonna be good stuff.
It is, and you come in as well after like a 2-fight win streak, so you've got a nice bit of momentum behind you going into this Titan bout. I suppose that kind of helps going into I'd say, because it's being on Fight Pass, there's a bit of more. There's a bit more to it, isn't there? You see, I think
added interest.
Yeah, so with that momentum, it definitely helps relax you, I'd imagine.
Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
It must help relax you having that momentum with those wins behind you going into this Titan card.
Oh yes, definitely. It really helps out a lot. Going in there with that confidence, and I try to, of course, always go into every matchup with confidence, but just having that extra added momentum makes it all the better. Especially like so going in there with the game opponent as Brian Davidson is. His pedigree of martial arts. With this Taekwondo. It can be. I'm sure it can be intimidating for most fighters out there that are predominantly ground fighters or predominantly this. Me, I'm ready to go. I'm all around, and going in there with the momentum against this guy is gonna be good stuff. It's gonna be fireworks.
I was going to say, when you got a game opponent such as that, it helps, I suppose, in training to. I mean, most fighters don't have trouble finding that motivation anyway, but it gives you the motivation, doesn't it? It makes that motivation easier, shall we say?
Oh yeah, definitely. It makes it easier to wake up in the morning and light the fire.
Yeah, I get you.
We've noticed with Titan FC, they have quite a depth adding into their 135s, the 145s, 155s. They're really starting to add that depth in. Does it excite you as well, the kind of fighters around these weight classes that they have? The fact that you get the quality matchups that are just pretty much on offer.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about the future, and wanting to be on top of the world, on top of the mountain, or the king of whatever division that I'm fighting in, whatever promotion, and so it being against opponents that are notable names, it makes it all the better, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to become the best in the world, and so in order to be the best, you have to fight the best, and so it's definitely the place to be.
It is, yeah. I think with like we've said before, with it being on Fight Pass, that must just literally, for a fighter yourself, the kind of attention it gets there, it really is worldwide and global. You might not get not every fighter gets that opportunity to get that exposure. Do you then find that when you are training, you kind of, knowing this in the back of your mind, that you want to go a bit harder, you want to put on that exhibition?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited that I'll be able to show this to the world, finally, because I feel like I always go out there and make it a point to make it a very entertaining fight for the crowd, and look for finishes and actually finish the fight, and so this time being worldwide, it's exciting to me because it's finally going to be available for everybody. It's like, here it is. This is what y'all been missing out on. That's what I feel like.
And that is the thing, you've accumulated, 20-odd fight careers, so it's not like you're a new kid on the block. You've got a great lot of experience under your belt. So the thing is, for example, me and Mike being in the UK, we don't get to see this experience. We don't get to see you fight, because it's hard. Certain promotions in the States don't kind of broadcast it, and it's impossible, obviously, to find the time to find to watch every fighter. So we get the opportunity of watching you compete. So what have you been doing then, training wise, to get yourself obviously ready for this fight, and just in general, really? What kind of training have you been doing? Where have you been going?
I'm always trying to work everything, but from boxing to kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, it's just an ongoing thing, trying to expand all around. And so my background, I wrestled in high school. I'm a brown belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I never received any I don't have any taekwondo belts or anything like that, but striking wise, I'm very experienced. I fought some really tough guys out there, and that also have kickboxing background and things like that. And so I feel like my all around game is just ready to go. I have one pro boxing and one kickboxing fight on my resume that I didn't do good on. I'm like, go ahead and say that. But the boxing was an interesting one because I actually took that on a 1-day notice. I was actually at the weigh-ins, just there for the weigh-ins, to help promote the show. And I'm in shape. I'm good to go. And they come up to me. They're like, "Oh, this guy doesn't have an opponent. Like, do you want to take the fight? Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Sure. Like, let's do it." And so that's how I made my pro boxing debut, and it was actually against a really, really tough and game opponent who's, I think at that time he was 4-0, is knocking everybody out, and I'm coming in there as an MMA fighter, and so he was telling the promoter and everybody else, like, "Oh, I'm gonna knock him out first round. This is an MMA fighter, blah blah blah," and so I went out there and made it a war. We went the distance, The first round he actually did catch me with a good solid punch. I stayed up. I was on my feet. There was no knockdown or anything like that. But I felt his power, and I was like, "All right, here we go." And so we kept on going at it. Second round, I believe I caught him with a shot that actually did drop him, but they called it a slip. And as soon as he got up, the round ended, and he got a chance to recover. And we just kept on going back and forth in that fight, in that matchup, and ended up being a decision. They gave it to him. I wasn't going to complain or anything like that. I'm like, shoot, I'm just excited that everybody else was on their feet and going crazy. Everybody was like, wow, like it was fight of the night and everything. And like I said, it was something I just took on 1-day notice and had I didn't train at all for a boxing match, leading up to that. And so it was quite the experience, So I forgot what got me getting into that, but yeah.
I tell you
what, when you've been hit in boxing, when you realise that you've just been separated because you've taken him down in response. But
I tell you, that is a beautiful thing to show there last minute, just day before. Let's do it.
My advice to you is stay away from them kung fu shows.
Oh boy!
Don't go walking into them.
Yeah, that's crazy, my friend. That story.
I'm guessing you've always got your shorts in the the glove box of your car, have you?
That was, oh my goodness, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience, because I never had a boxing match before. I had always tried to get amateur boxing fights and things like that never came through. And when that happened, it was like, I had to immediately go get a pair of boxing shoes, all this last minute stuff, and it was a local show, so I was eager to help make the show, make it happen. And so I went in with it, and my wife, of course, was not excited at all. She was not very happy or pleased by any by one stretch of it or anything. She was like, "Oh my goodness," but it was like I just went up to her and told her I was taking this fight, and she was there with me, and she was just like, "Oh my goodness!" Like she's like she had no response. She's just like, "Okay, I guess so."
Joking aside, how did you find? Obviously, not having prepared for a boxing match, how hard did you find it to stay within the rules during the fight? Because there must be moments where instinct would tell you to do something that you can't do in boxing. Shall we say, like something as simple as a leg kick or something, or a takedown.
That was probably the hardest thing.
my reactions for distinguishing whether to go for a grappling technique and striking technique are pretty those lines can be separated pretty easily. But when it comes to striking, like you're trying to hold back, throwing a leg kick in the middle of a fight, that can be difficult. When you're throwing blows. And so warming up, I actually as I was warming up for that fight, I almost threw a leg kick, with my guy in the back, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't do that in the fight. I cannot do that in the fight. I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Do not do that.
Yeah, you should just tie your laces together. Tie your laces together so you can only go so far apart.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it was definitely an experience, and I'm glad I didn't slip up, and accidentally throw any illegal shots in boxing. It was an awesome experience, though. It's something I definitely am glad that I have that. Just as a personal memory, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those kind of, like you said, it's invaluable what you got from it. That's the key.
Yeah, the experience as well of.
It's just the knowledge that you can take from it. Even though you did it last minute, it wasn't planned. There is a lot you can take from it going into MMA. You see, and that's the golden thing about it, is that you learn from it, and that's the thing. You can take away something from it.
Well, you also know for yourself that you're prepared to step up. And
yeah, and that guy, he was not just kind of like any run-of-the-mill boxer type of guy. He was 4-0 at the time, and like I said, I think he had knocked out all his other guys in the first round. He went on to become, champion of, I forget what, I don't know the acronyms for whatever it was but he's a really good fighter. He was multiple state champion as an amateur. He went to nationals, I believe, a couple times, and so like he had quite the resume when it comes to boxing, and so it was a really great experience. That's like you said, invaluable.
So I take it for this fight they've given you more notice, yeah?
Yeah.
right. That's just so we'll check this one out. You do actually know this is happening, don't you?
Yeah, I'm like, this is fight. Oh, okay, this fight has happened. That's right. Okay, yeah. It's not tomorrow. I have how many weeks? Oh, great.
I prefer only a day's notice. I prefer it that way.
Yeah. Don't miss so many nights sleep.
I was about to say, it's crazy the difference when you've got the boxing gloves on when you spar. You obviously had the bout, and then you went to do sparring with MMA gloves. The kind of comfort zone that goes from boxing gloves to MMA gloves, I found it absolutely. The first time when I spar or train with boxing gloves on, there is that kind of that comfort zone you fall into because you've got so much around you to cover you. But then when you go to spar in the MMA gloves, you can't. I fell into the lull. I fell into it. I thought, I'll just put my hands up, and all of a sudden these gloves are just popping through left, right, and centre, and I kind of went, yeah, this kind of sucks. Did it surprise you when you started to get back into when you started to train that way yourself?
For MMA?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Like I before I ever actually trained in a gym or anything like that, me and my brothers, we always would watch fights and do our own training on our own, which was the backyard brawling, that you see YouTube videos of and things like that. But we were actually trying to learn these moves. We weren't just going crazy on each other, and so anytime we would grapple, anytime we would do anything, we would also throw some strikes in there, and we didn't have any gloves or anything, and so wearing MMA gloves to me is closer to home. I feel like I was born to do MMA. When it comes to fighting, like I have skills with just straight kickboxing, I have skills straight hands, I have skills straight ground, things like that. But I feel like my all-around skill set is made and geared for MMA, and so that's where I feel most at home is MMA. It's actually comforting, to be in that
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get fighters that actually are very good at one particular art, but they can't blend. They can't blend it in the world of MMA, and you can have, sometimes it's better to be a jack of all trades almost, rather than a
master of one, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
It is that. It is a very fine line, the mixed martial arts. When I think a lot of people, when they come into it, they get a bit of a shock. For example, if you are skilled in taekwondo or karate, there is certain aspects of that martial art that leave openings for a mixed martial artist to kind of take out and to take that opponent out. So it is really kind of adapting to MMA. And if you're just someone who trains mostly MMA, it kind of helps. I think it certainly does help in many aspects. Obviously, your fight coming up, you've got Davidson, and he, like you say, he's got a specific martial art background, which you could use to your advantage if you can find the holes, and the access is there anyway to see his fights online. So I'm sure your coaches sat and had a bit of fun studying his bouts, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's both sides, because my list of videos to go through online is there as well. So I know it's going to be on both ends. They're going to try to look through and see habits and patterns, things like that of mine, and we're going to be doing the same. And so that's that chess game outside of the fight itself, where it's trying to game plan and create a strategy for how to go about being successful in the fight. But when it comes down to it, a fight is a fight, and as soon as it's just me and him in there, it's just me and him in there. And so all the other stuff, like who is it, Mike Tyson or I forget the original person that said it, but everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face. And so it's gonna be interesting, to see how it all plays out. I of course feel that I'm gonna pull out on top and and make an exclamation point for myself. And so I know he has other plans, but it's gonna be good stuff.
Just don't go to any shows beforehand, or definitely don't take your shorts to any shows beforehand.
Yeah, I won't take any other fights or anything.
yeah, or at least don't go anywhere on your own.
Don't go anywhere, yeah.
Take your missus with you.
and listen.
Yeah.
I'd obviously, if people are going to be tuning into this Titan FC bound fight pass, myself and Mike, we will be anyway over across here in the UK. So for people who maybe want to jump on and give you a follow and support, buddy, have you got any social media things that people can jump onto?
Yes, I'm on Twitter at Chris Pecero, CHRAS, of course, and Pecero is my last name, and so it's just all together, my Twitter handle. And on Facebook, Chris the Enigma Pecero. Also on Instagram is Chris the Enigma, and Periscope, Vine, YouTube, all of those. You just look me up, search me. I try to be all across the board, and I try to be as active on social media as possible. And not overly active to where I'm just taking selfies 24/7 or anything like that. But I'm always trying to keep it entertaining and things like that. I apologize right now for my if my energy level sounds a little funny or awkward over the phone. I just finished a pretty good training session over at the Arena Strength and Fitness, and so my energy levels are going down.
Hang on, you just told us you ate a load of ice cream and you can't move an inch. You're on the sofa.
And what's your Rumbler name, please?
I was going to say you've got every social media bit there, mate. You got more than us going on.
Have you heard of that? Right? You're going to end up on that Rumbler, aren't you?
Oh, I've heard about that. So
Yeah.
And what about your sponsors, buddy? Have you got any people out there that particularly help you out with your kind of MMA career?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank the gyms that I train at, Full Contact Fight Academy being the main one, Represent Han. Also, where I mentioned the Arena Strength and Fitness. Big shout out and support and thanks to my supplements, Rocks, Discount Vitamins. They've always been on board and helped me through everything, as vitamin supplements and Kazushi Sakuraba, well-known MMA fighter, of course, and so
Did you have to negotiate with the wife to get that name?
Without their support.
Did you have to negotiate with the wife to get that name?
Yeah, we actually. Oh my goodness, it was. It's a funny story behind that. We actually had a lottery type of thing where we were drawing names and things like that. And we
Not
had
fixed, of course. Yeah.
It was funny.
I like the fact that she would have went. She went. Okay, I like the name. I like the name Edward, Adam, and you're sitting there going Basrutin, Sakuraba, Fedor Elemenko, and you're just putting all them names in.
I was going to say, did you discuss it whilst you were still high on drugs from the?
Sorry, buddy.
I'm like, how about Marco Lewis? Can we go with Marco Lewis? No. No, you don't like that name?
I like that. I can see this happening in the future with people as well. Women would just be there thinking, "What did you say, sweetheart?" I was just thinking, Pedro Hizo. No, don't worry about it. I was just forget about it.
Sorry, it was just yeah. It was just Hizo. It's with the R, but you pronounce Hizo. It's yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll fit.
I tell you what, one of your kids was an inch away from being called Tank Abbott. So it could have been worse.
Yeah. All right. That's what you're going to tell her. Yeah, it could have been Tank Abbott.
Yeah. Butterbean or something. Oh dear. Yeah.
No, that is some great way to get the kids.
Actually has a. Sorry, I was going to say that the Saku name actually has a background to it as well, being more so than it just being Kazushi Sakuraba's name. When I was training, years ago, just straight grappling, I would, not only training, but in competitions, I would oftentimes bust out, with cartwheels and things like that in the middle of matches or middle of training, and so, everybody started to call me Sakuraba, like as a nickname, and so, Sakuraba, yeah, and it stuck for a bit, and of course I didn't keep it, I'm known as Chris the Enigma as my fight name, and but it was I feel like it was so much part of that chapter in my life that it was rightfully so passed on to my little boy Psycho Element, and my first son being Cash Eric Pecero, he's actually named after me as well. Christopher Eric is my birth name, and so they both have a little bit of that, a little bit of junior in each of them.
So you won the lottery twice with the name calling, right?
Yes.
Between us and yourself, did you rig the lottery?
Yeah. Cash is that was the name that she always wanted after Johnny Cash, and so it was a really good. I felt like we both really got what we wanted when it came to the names, because she had of course her say in there as well.
No, it's not a bad one, Cash. I like that one.
Well, if you have another child, can we be included in the next lottery?
No more. We are all done.
Because I'm getting on a bit, and I wouldn't mind aging a child. Not aging naming a child. I mean, so,
Yeah, Mike's going to be dust.
what's the chance? They say it's 1 in how many million?
Mike's going to be dust soon, so yeah. Chris, thanks very much for coming on and speaking with us. Have a great time at this Titan card. We know how well Titan look after their fighters. We know how well fighters enjoy going and fighting on the Titan card. So, you're gonna have an awesome time, man. It's gonna be a great time before Christmas. I have to say.
And just remember, it's not tomorrow.
No.
It's not tomorrow. I'll be good to go. I'm very excited, and so I'll keep all of that reserved until then. I don't have to fight tomorrow, like you said. So I'm good to go.
We'll get your energy levels up.
All right.
And there was Brian and Chris. Great to have them on. So I want to thank them two guys. Of course, we want to thank. I'll spit the bricks out. Want to thank Fredrick and Bobby for coming on too, and obviously want to thank everyone at home for listening to the podcast. And it was just a short, snappy week for us. And we hope you all enjoyed this week. We certainly did. We had a great time. And we just want to get you, before you go, jump on your social networking sites and give these people a follow. We have
UFC Scotland.
We have on Facebook UFC Wreckage. Also, their website and Twitter is MMA Wreckage.
We also have MMA UK, and their Twitter handle is We Are MMA UK.
On Facebook, we have Fighting and MMA.
And on Facebook and Twitter, we have The Real MMA Talk.
And then last but not least, on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, they're funny. They talk about MMA. It's funny MMA. Jump on. They'll give you a giggle. And let's finish off with thank you very much, everyone. We will be back very soon, won't we, Mike?
Yep, definitely. Thank you very much, and goodbye.